Good morning, everybody. My name is Melissa Bond. I want to welcome you to my morning speech. I'm going to be talking about poverty. Poverty right now, for me, is kind of a sensitive thing. You know, I grew up on the poor side of town, and so this is kind of a little close to home. And it is a delicate subject for people, but I think it's something that we all share in as a society. According to Michael McLaughlin, he states, when children do not succeed as adults, all society pays a price. Poverty has many negative impacts on our children. It affects education levels. Poverty affects the ability to acquire the skills for jobs, and it strengthens our children to be productive as they grow, and as an adult are less productive. One assumption is that child poverty leads to crime, and adults learn less, and so on. Having no money is not the only reason that we suffer from poverty. Educators are learning as children come into the classroom that they are missing some vital lessons that they never attained from home. And some of these important things are not just not having the financial needs met, but the emotional needs. Being able to control our emotions as children when bad things occur or happen to us, not knowing how to emotionally deal with those things, they affect us in the long term. Mental abilities, dealing with daily life skills. You know, if you don't have the abilities mentally to be able to work those problems out, you don't do well and you struggle. Also spiritual, believing in a divine purpose. We do have a divine purpose, and with that divine purpose we have guidance and keeps us in the line so that we don't fall off the road and wreck or in the ditch. And also physical, not having the physical means. You know, if you are sick, you know, and not doing well, you can't go to school. And if you're not in school, you're not learning those important skills. So not having those physical needs met, it also can hinder you in obtaining abilities to be successful as an adult. Also, role models. We know in today's society with the internet, there is such a large number of negative role models to our children. Things that tear down our children, other children tearing down our children. We need positive role models for our children. And so with having those positive role models from other positive influences, it helps our children to learn the cues of different cultures, different societies, different peer groups. So we need to know that having these sets will make benefits for our children in the future. With that being said, our teachers are facing these problems that they don't know how to overcome these. And they've learned that if they can overcome these problems, then our children can break that cycle of poverty. Poverty, again, like I said, is not just about not having the money. It's about having all these other sets, these skill sets, to help us be strong people. So teachers are learning to develop a way to incorporate teaching these elements that our children are not having back into the curriculum. So teachers are a vital, important part in the nurturing of children as they become adults. You have positive children who have positive skill sets built on strong foundations. That's going to build strong adult foundations. And your adulthood will be an easier and a happier adulthood instead of the constant struggle. Now, a few things that also are impacted with our families is families who are at the poverty level or the low income level. They're just barely staying above water. What has come up is the cost of childcare. Now, when you have families that are barely making it and they have children, and these families are families with children that are 3 or more, headed by a single parent, a minority, headed by someone who has less than a high school education, or who is not even working full time. With this, and they're barely making it, when you have childcare on top of that, that impact is such a significant impact on their income, it lowers them to below the low income down into the poverty level. So now these children are suffering in this poverty level simply for the fact that they don't have enough financial income to cover their financial needs. If we as a society can learn to make it more important that not to just focus on financials, but all of the whole thing with emotional, spiritual, physical role models, and combine it as to one problem, we can tackle it. We all have to work together for our children. Like it was said, it takes a village to raise a child. And we need those resources. The impacts of not having these skills is it suppresses education, because your child is not happy. If you don't have a happy child, you probably have a child who doesn't want to focus, doesn't want to listen. They're not happy. They need you to find out, why are you not happy? It dampens the ability to obtain valuable skills, job skills. Based on the supplemental poverty measurement, the average family, low-income family, is $26,000 a year. However, according to Matley Schaefer, the spending percentage of child care can drop the amount 20%. It costs 20% of a child or a family's income. It's a huge impact just for that child care. In other words, we need not be able to provide for themselves without supplemental income. So, in other words, is that if we do not have the income, we are going to need a supplemental income to help with that. And with that being said, that means that our mothers and our fathers, not only do they have to have one job, but they also have to acquire a second job. And they're not there. They're not there as a positive role model or positive support for your child when your child is home. So we all need to keep this in mind as we are adults now, that we need to supplement when we can and provide for our children so that we can break this cycle. According to Boatwright and Metcalf, they state that poverty is not just about a lack of money in one's family, although money is one of the defining factors. Instead, poverty is the extent to which an individual does without resources. We all have got to work together to be a positive, caring, loving society. The simplicity of ignorance leads to the demise of generations of Americans. We must educate, provide skill paths and ways for our people, we are all people together, to overcome economic circumstances that exist in the American society today. It is the responsibility of all American people to share in this accountability of our youth. Our children's future is our problem, not just a segment of people who fall under the SPM. Boatwright and Metcalf state in their article, one can believe that teachers who possess the knowledge and the skills needed to teach children of poverty and teach them well have the greatest potential for breaking the poverty cycle that has been going on for generations. We can do this as a group together, striving together, because as it has been told us in the past, our children are our future. So let's invest in our children. Let's show them that there are better ways. There are more productive ways. We can do this. And the most important thing is we got to do it in love. Everyone needs to know that they are loved. Thank you.